Hi, I'm Rachel Morgan, and this is the story of how my sister learned that success isn't always what it looks like from the outside. While she was climbing the corporate ladder in Manhattan, I was quietly building an empire from my classroom, proving that the biggest victories sometimes come from staying true to yourself. I had always loved that Victorian mansion on Maple Drive. As kids, Emma and I would ride our bikes past it after school, dreaming about living there someday. "I'll buy it when I'm rich and successful," Emma would declare. I would just smile and snap photos from my vision board. That house, with its wraparound porch and intricate woodwork, symbolized everything we hoped to achieve. Our paths diverged after high school. Emma went off to an elite business school determined to conquer Wall Street. I chose to become a high school math teacher, following in our mother's footsteps. "You're wasting your potential," Emma would say during her rare visits home. "Teaching? Really? With your math skills?" What she never understood was that I was using my math skills, just not in the way she expected. While she pulled all-nighters at investment banks, I was quietly developing an algorithm to predict real estate market trends. During summer breaks, while she networked at Hamptons parties, I was buying and flipping properties in up-and-coming neighborhoods. Mom knew my secret. She had helped me incorporate my first investment company, Morgan Educational Properties. The name made everyone assume I was running after-school programs, and I never corrected them. "Some people need to show off their success," Mom would say as she helped me analyze market data. "Others stay quiet to stay successful." Within 10 years, my little side project had grown into a real estate portfolio worth over $100 million. I managed everything through shell corporations, trusts, and legal structures that kept my name out of public records. To the world, I was still Miss Morgan, the dedicated math teacher who drove a modest Honda and lived in a cozy bungalow. Emma's success, on the other hand, was on full display. Vice president at 32, a Manhattan penthouse, a designer wardrobe. She had become exactly what she dreamed of being, and with each achievement her disdain for my small life grew sharper. "When are you going to do something with your life?" she asked once at a family gathering. "You can't grade papers forever." Then came the day that changed everything. Mom's sudden passing from a heart attack. The loss devastated us both, though we grieved in different ways. I found solace in teaching. Emma channeled her energy into acquiring the Victorian mansion on Maple Drive, which had just gone up for sale. At Mom's funeral reception held in our childhood home, Emma couldn't resist making an announcement. Standing before our family and friends, champagne flute in hand, she smiled her flawless corporate smile. "Mom always taught us to chase our dreams," she began, her voice carrying across the hushed living room. "And I'm proud to announce that I've just made an offer on the Victorian mansion on Maple Drive. You remember it, Rachel? The one we used to dream about?" I nodded quietly, sipping my water. "Of course I'll be renovating it completely," she continued. "Maybe I'll even let you house it sometimes, sis, since we both know you'll never afford it on a teacher's salary." The room filled with awkward chuckles. Aunt Patricia patted my hand while our cousins avoided eye contact. Emma basked in the attention, already describing her lavish renovation plans. What she didn't know was that I had purchased that house 3 years earlier through one of my corporations. I had been quietly restoring it ever since, researching its history, preserving its character. It had been one of my last projects with Mom, who had helped me study the original blueprints. I stayed silent through Emma's entire speech, through her talk of modernizing the historic woodwork, through her thinly veiled jabs at my career. But when she mentioned tearing out the library, Mom's favorite room in any house, something inside me shifted. Later that evening, after the guests had left, I sat in Mom's study staring at her desk. In her will, she had left instructions that certain documents be revealed a week after her funeral. Among them was the deed to the Victorian mansion, showing me as the true owner, along with a letter explaining exactly which daughter had become the businesswoman she had always hoped for. As I ran my fingers over the envelope, I thought of all the years of condescension, of being underestimated, of quietly building something meaningful while Emma chased external validation. Tomorrow, at the reading of the will, Emma would finally learn the truth, that her unsuccessful little sister not only owned her dream house, but also half the commercial real estate in our growing town. But tonight I had paperwork to handle, because Emma's offer on my house needed to be formally rejected. The next morning we gathered in Mr. Peterson's law office. He had been our family attorney for 30 years, and I noticed the subtle smile tugging at the corners of his mouth as he prepared to begin. Emma sat beside me, scrolling through design magazines on her tablet, occasionally nudging me with pictures of how she planned to modernize my house. "Now," Mr. Peterson said, adjusting his glasses, "before we proceed with the standard provisions of the will, Sarah left specific instructions about revealing certain documents." He pulled out a manila envelope. "These are to be discussed first." Emma finally looked up from her tablet, frowning. "Documents? What documents?" Mr. Peterson removed several folders from the envelope. "The first item is regarding the Victorian mansion at 1847 Maple Drive." Emma straightened, smoothing her designer suit. "Perfect timing. I just made an offer yesterday." "Yes," Mr. Peterson nodded. "About that offer." He slid a document across the table. "This is the current deed to the property, along with its ownership history for the past 3 years." Emma snatched the paper eagerly, then froze. Her perfectly manicured fingers tightened around the document as she read it once, twice, 3 times. This must be a mistake." "No mistake," Mr. Peterson said quietly. "The property has been owned by Morgan Educational Properties since 2020, along with, I might add, approximately 60% of the commercial real estate in the downtown area." Emma's head snapped up. "Morgan Educational. Rachel." Her voice cracked on my name. "This is some kind of joke, right?" I calmly pulled out my phone and opened the Morgan Properties portfolio app one had developed. "No joke, Emma. Here's the current portfolio overview." I slid the phone across the table. "Mom helped me set up the company 15 years ago. She was my silent partner and chief advisor." Emma scrolled through the app, her face draining of color as property after property appeared before her eyes. The historic theater downtown, the new tech startup hub, the luxury apartment complex by the river, all mine. But you're a teacher," she whispered. "Yes, I am," I said, smiling as I thought of my students. "And I'm also a successful real estate investor. The two aren't mutually exclusive." "Mrs. Morgan left a letter explaining everything," Mr. Peterson interjected, pulling out an envelope in Mom's familiar handwriting. "She asked that I read it aloud." He unfolded the letter and began. "My dearest daughters, if you're hearing this, then it's time for the truth to come out. Emma, your drive and ambition have taken you far in the corporate world, and I'm proud of all you've achieved. But in your pursuit of visible success, you've sometimes forgotten something important. True worth isn't measured by what others can see." Rachel understood this from the beginning. While you were climbing corporate ladders, she was building foundations, not just in real estate but in the lives of her students. She proved that you don't have to choose between doing good and doing well. The Victorian mansion you both loved as children? Rachel bought it 3 years ago. She has been carefully restoring it, preserving its history and quietly making it a home. Emma, all those times you mocked her salary, she could have bought your Manhattan penthouse 10 times over. But Rachel chose to keep her success private, understanding that sometimes the best power is the power others don't know you have. Her portfolio isn't just impressive, it's transformative. She has revitalized downtown, created affordable housing, and supported local businesses, all while teaching the next generation. It's time for you both to see each other clearly. Emma, your sister isn't just a teacher, she's one of the most successful business owners in the state. And Rachel, your sister isn't just a corporate climber, she has valuable skills that could complement yours if you both let go of old patterns. My greatest hope is that this revelation brings you closer, not further apart. Success comes in many forms, but family is the greatest success of all. With love." Silence filled the office as Mr. Peterson folded the letter. Emma's hands trembled as she set down my phone, its screen still displaying numbers that dwarfed her net worth. "The library," she said finally, her voice small. "Yesterday at the funeral I talked about tearing it out. But you'd already restored it, hadn't you?" I nodded. "Mom helped me find period-appropriate fixtures. It was our last project together." Emma's composure cracked. Tears spilled down her cheeks, smudging her perfect makeup. "I've been so horrible to you all these years, looking down on you, pitying you, and all the while, you were building an empire right under my nose." "An empire isn't worth much without family to share it with," I said softly. "Mom taught me that." What happened next surprised us both. Emma started laughing, Real laughter, not her practiced corporate chuckle. My little sister, the secret real estate mogul, she said, shaking her head. All those times you tried to explain investment strategies to me. While I was already calculating cap rates in my head, I finished. We both burst into laughter. For the next few hours, we went through Mom's papers, discovering how she had shaped both of our paths, guiding my business quietly, while encouraging Emma's corporate ambition. She had been preparing for this moment for years, laying the groundwork for us to finally see each other clearly. In the end, Emma didn't move into the Victorian mansion. Instead, she asked to invest in Morgan Educational Properties, bringing her corporate expertise to expand our impact. Together, we restored Mom's favorite room, the library, as a community learning space, hosting free financial literacy classes for local students. Emma still works in corporate finance, but she's different now. She even teaches evening classes at my school, showing students how to navigate the business world without losing themselves. As for me, I still drive my Honda to school every day, still grade papers late into the night. But now Emma knows that her just-a-teacher sister is also her business partner, her equal, and finally her friend. The Victorian mansion on Maple Drive stands as a testament to our journey. From the outside, it looks like a beautifully restored piece of history. Inside, in the library Mom loved, two sisters meet every Sunday to share business strategies, teaching stories, and the reminder that the quietest success stories are often the most meaningful. Just last week, one of my students asked me, "What's the secret to success?" I thought of Mom's letter, of Emma's transformation, of the power of quiet achievement. Then I smiled and told them, "Success isn't about what you own or what others see. It's about staying true to yourself, while building something meaningful, even if no one else knows you're building it." Emma, sitting in on my class that day, actually clapped,